Hi guys, welcome back to the UK and Ireland tour. My name is Chris, aka Big Will, and today we have a new club and our first game in charge. We're gonna go into all the ins and outs of the club first of all, have a look at the squad, and see exactly how we can go about getting St Mirren into a much better position to what they are currently in. Um, we won the league and the cup, as you are well aware, at Derry City. We didn't get offered the job at St Johnstone, so it seems fitting that it is our first game in charge of St Mirren, who always seem to be a bit of a thorn in our side when we're here at Hibernian. um, Looking at the league table, they're set in 10th place. They're just outside the relegation places. Queen's Park just above us by a point, but with a couple of games in hand. In terms of the way the table shapes up, they are quite a way off the pace from like the mid-table teams, but hopefully we can find a way of getting this team into that midway point of the table for this season. We're currently midway through December. They've just had a 2-0 defeat to Aberdeen, but in terms of their recent form, they have really, really struggled with one win in, well, two wins in their last 10 matches. And then you've got to go some way to find a win in the Cup or League previous to that. So it's been a very difficult campaign for them. They've actually only won the two league matches against Kilmarnock and against Wraith Rovers, which wasn't that long ago. And it's going to be a difficult job, this, I think. I think, are capable of staying up. We have got some good players, but we've also got a bit of an injury crisis with some of the key players at the club as well. So what we'll do, we'll just have a quick look at the squad planner. We'll get the suggestions in. Obviously, there's a number of players in the reserves. I've not gone through the squads properly as of yet. We've set up how we want to play. It's going to be the same tactical style as what we had at Derry City, and hopefully it's something that we can make use of. In terms of staff, we haven't got any. So the first game in charge that's coming round, obviously, we're very short in the way of backroom, and it is going to be a little bit difficult. We've only got one coach, and he's a goalkeeping coach. Everything else is pretty much empty at the moment. But we have got a number of staff that we're looking at, and we have had to put adverts out for other members of staff as well. Um, some of our former staff members, the likes of Jack Wilshire, they're very interested. He's very interested in coming back to be part of my backroom team. So he looks like he'll be coming in. Um, Owen Jones was our set piece coach at Derry City. He looks like he could be coming in. And Jimmy Smith, our under 19s manager at Derry City. And obviously, a couple of these guys were previously with us at Hibernian as well. He is hopefully going to be coming in to be my new assistant manager. In relation to the actual coaching team, we can't actually have an assistant manager. So how it's going to work is they're going to have to take part in within the coaching setup. Aidan Callan has followed us over as well as our head of youth development. He's not done too bad in that manner in with our previous clubs. So hopefully he, excuse me, sorry, hopefully he will be able to get some good youth talent through the club as well. So hopefully when things start coming together with the coaching staff, obviously for the time being, it could be a difficult period for us. We need a good result against St Johnstone, really, just to give us a little bit of leeway, a bit of confidence in the squad as well. Um, Obviously, in terms of transfers, it's all just staff at the moment. We are overspent as things stand in terms of wage budget. They're 8.5 grand overdrawn with the wage budget. We've got no transfer budget at all, but we have moved a little bit of money over into scouting budget for the course of December and January. So if we do manage to sort something out to get a little bit of money through the door, we might be able to maneuver ourselves a little bit better in the transfer market. Um, Incidentally, I'm not too sure where we stand in terms of transfer. We've only got 15% of transfer revenue retainment, so that is a big, big problem. Um, we've got one very good central defender who you will be meeting shortly, and he's we could probably get 15 to 20 million pounds for him, but with 15% of transfer revenue, it's not really worth it because we wouldn't be able to convert a lot of the financial side of it into normal budgets. We will ask for an increase to transfer revenue. I highly doubt anything will come of it. Obviously, like I say, we're still trying to rebuild the club a little bit there. £3.5 million overdrawn. So selling someone like that centre back, obviously, the money would all go into the bank account anyway. But we need to be able to function in the transfer market, and it's very unlikely that we'd be able to, even if we sold someone of that importance. So in relation to the squad planner, we've got two reasonably good goalkeepers. Aston Oxbury is in the reserves at the moment. I mean, to be fair, we'll probably just move him up to the senior squad just because he's got that experience. He's a third choice goalkeeper. 33-year-old Brandon Austin is currently our number one, with 26-year-old Tommy Setford as the backup. They're both quality enough to be first choice goalkeepers. I'm edging toward Tommy Setford really at this early stage, but again, we'll see how things line up when we get the staff in to see who is preferred and where. In terms of left back, Leandro Martins is the best left back at the club. Unfortunately, he is out injured and he's going to be out for around a month as well, which is a big shame. It's a bit of a blow from our point of view. We've got James Nolan who can play in there, but he's also a right wing back as well. So there's that extra cover to be done there. I'm expecting that he will be our key right back. Like I say, we've come into the club. I've not had a proper look at everything as of yet, so it is going to be a difficult one to sort out. Fontaine Rosa, this is the centre back that I was telling you about. He's only 6 foot tall, but his overall attributes are fantastic. Between 15 and 16 million pounds worth of valuation. He's not someone that I'd want to sell, but for that kind of valuation, for a team like St Mirren, it would be quite important from a financial perspective if we did. And he's on nearly £6,000 a week as well, so that would clear a lot of the backup from wages as well. But he can also cover at left back. Gozi Dykes is in on loan. He can also cover at left back as well on loan from Brighton. And Leon King is a bit of a utility player. Will play across that whole defensive area and in midfield. Other than that, that's about it. Gustavo Harmer is someone that we are looking to sell. He is wanted by a team in Saudi Arabia. He's on £4,000 a week, and he's going to be relatively cheap to go. He's 35 years of age. He's not a player that I'm planning on using. So going into the right back role, we've actually got another decent right back in the shape of Ian Boyd. He's a pretty decent looking right back, to be fair. 24 years of age, decent valuation on him as well. Adequate backup to James Nolan, but like I say, Nolan can play at left back. So with the fact that Leandro Martins is injured, it is likely that Nolan will cover on that side, and we'll have Ian Boyd starting in that right back role. And then in relation to centre back, it's a position that I'm actually quite impressed with, to be fair. Obviously, we've got Fontana Rosa, who we've just seen before. Benjamin Tripanez, who is a Swiss defender, 10 under 21 caps previously. I really like him. He's got good leadership qualities, very determined character. His pace isn't the best, but at 6'4" with good heading ability and an excellent jumping reach, he could be a big danger from the set pieces. Kieran Pearce is another good defender, New Zealand international, 24 years of age. Again, his jumping reach is okay, but he's only 6 foot tall. Heading ability not the best, but he's a good, strong backup to have to the main two of Fontana Rosa and Tripanez. And Leon King as well, a 3-star quality centre back, adequate backup in there. So we've got 4 good centre backs, plus Devon Silly Nice, who's a 24-year-old Dutch centre back. 6'1", and again, jumping reach is reasonable. Determined character, decent work rate. Defensive attributes do require a bit of improvement, but hopefully he is another one that can come good. Unfortunately, again, one of the injury layoffs, he's out for 2 to 6 weeks, which is a big blow. And then we go into the defensive midfield role. Again, it's largely actually taken up with the defenders. Kieran Pearce can play in there as an anchor man. James Nolan can also play in there as well. Conor Barron, who isn't fully fit, unfortunately, 30-year-old midfield player, he can play in that defensive midfield role as well. In terms of the role of the deep line playmaker that we look to play in that role, They're just average, really, but it is something that they might be able to develop into doing. Jack Henry Francis is another one, 2.5 star. Good passing ability, decent vision as well. So he could be an adequate player to be putting into that role. And of course, Leon King is also someone that can play in there. So there's a couple of options with the likes of Henry Francis and Barron. Obviously, Pearce can also play in that role as well, but Nolan definitely is going to be a fullback. Kieran Pearce, centre back cover, yes, but we've got 4 or 5 good centre backs, so he is a player that might be able to take up a role in that midfield. And to be fair, midfield is somewhere that we are going to be looking to potentially try and make a signing if possible. We're quite short in terms of numbers in that role. Henry Francis and Connor Barron are the only ones that we've really got. So Kieran Pearce may have to play in that defensive midfield role so that we've got the cover in the normal central midfield positions. And then in terms of wingers, we've got a couple of decent ones. Amari Benjamin's actually a striker, but he can play left and right hand side. He's a very important player for St Mirren, 6'2" as well. And unfortunately, again, a bit of an absentee at the moment, 2 to 3 weeks. He will be injured for. James Oru is a left winger, full of pace, Scottish international. Really excited about this lad, to be fair. He's got a decent work rate, good determined character, so hopefully he will be able to bomb up and down that left hand side for us. And with the amount of pace he's got, decent crossing ability, hopefully he can be that creative type player that we need. And Kenneth Lee is in on loan again from Brighton. He's nothing special really, decent amount of pace again, but other than that, there's not really too much I'm excited about with him. And then on the right hand side, again, we've got a decent amount of cover. Amari Benjamin again can cover on that side. We've got Farrell Brown, who's a 27-year-old winger. I quite like him, to be honest. He's going to be a key player for us, I think. Decent attributes all round. Good all round type player to have on that right hand side. And Mikaze Nagasawa, who's a Japanese player, not an international. Again, decent amount of pace, but other than that, creativity could be quite reasonable. But other than that, he is just an average player, really. Ruari, Ru, Ruari Chicken is currently transfer listed at the club. He's a 24-year-old Scotsman, and he's not the best, really. He's got a couple of decent attributes in there, but he's not going to really be one to develop, particularly at this stage. And then there's a few reserve and wingers in there as well. Murray Longwell's actually a proper striker that we have. We'll look at him momentarily. Calvin McCann, um, he's not too bad, really, but he's not got a lot of pace. So in terms of him being able to play on that right-hand side, I'm not too sure. He may need to get his pace up a little bit. And Evan Murdoch is another one. He's got the pace, just needs to add it a little bit to his technical game, I think, before we can start playing him regularly as well. Both of those two players, by the way, are loan listed. So we need to get them some game time. And hopefully they will turn into decent players, but I will reserve judgment on them for the time being. And then in terms of actual striking options, Amari Benjamin is the best one at the club. And again, unfortunately, with him being out injured, we are struggling a little bit to find a decent backup. Murray Longwell has scored a few goals for the club this season. He's actually the top scorer this season with 7 goals. He's a decent finisher, but he lacks the pace to be really cutting edge and getting in behind those defences. So up front is another position where we're probably going to need to get some backup in there. Ruari Chicken is a player that's got a decent amount of pace, but again, his fitness isn't great, so he's not going to last the distance with the style of play that we're looking at. So we are short, really, in a couple of key positions. Central midfield, up front, I think we need probably a little bit of cover on the left wing, potentially on the right as well, depending on what we do with Nagasawa. Central midfield and holding midfield especially. Defensively, I don't think we're too bad. I think another strong left back is something that we may need. But the likes of Nolan and Boyd, both as right backs, I think is quite decent. And the same at centre back, I think we're looking quite good as well. Goalkeeper, again, reasonable with Austin and Setford. Obviously, if we can seek improvements in the squad, we will do. But it's going to be extremely difficult. Like I say, we've got no money at all to play with. And if we can somehow find any loans to come in that that are free, then that'd be ideal. But it's going to be very, very difficult, I think, largely because we're in the top league in Scotland. Um, and in the meantime, we're going to have to just make do with what we have. So the plan today is we'll just play St Mirren, sorry. We'll just play St Johnston away from home today, and then I'm going to rattle through a few matches, including against our former club Hibernian, and we'll get through January as well, because obviously that's going to be the transfer window, and then we'll come back for Motherwell and Rangers at the start of February, and we can evaluate exactly what we've been able to do in the transfer window as well, and hopefully, like I said, we can develop this squad a little bit. But it is going to be extremely tough. I mean, Amari Benjamin, again, very high valuation. In terms of the squad at the moment, Gustavo Hammer is the only player that's actually wanted by another club. He is going to be sold anyway. Obviously, with 15% transfer revenue, we'll get about £7,000 into the transfer budget, so it's pretty much nothing. But it is £4 grand a week off the wage bill, and that is the bit that we are struggling with a little bit. We've also got Willie McCade in the senior team as well. Again, he's not going to light fires really. He's just a bit of a squad player, and I think, to be honest, we'll just put him back in the reserves for the time being. But again, overall quality from certain players is excellent, but we need to get that consistency throughout the whole squad, and it's going to be very difficult, like I say, in January, and it could just be a season of survival. So let's see how we shape up. In terms of goal difference, we're not looking horrifically bad compared to the two teams below us. St Johnstone on minus 23 goals and Livingston on minus 18. Incidentally, I did have a look at St Johnston's squad. It is incredibly small, but they do have some elements of quality in there as well. So hopefully we can get off to a good start here. We are going to be aggressive in our style of play. I think we've got enough quality in the side to be able to get things done, but we haven't got the depth. So if we get any injuries, we're going to really, really struggle. So going into this game, Austin is going to start in goal. Dykes, Fontana Rosa, Tripanez and Boyd at the back. Nolan, King and Henry Francis at the midfield three, with Nagasawa, Oru and Chicken as the front three. Chicken, of course, like I say, is transfer listed. He's not going to light too many fights. He's got a bit more pace, though, than our other backup striker. So, again, we'll just see how things go. Longwell, like I say, top scorer at the club at the moment. But again, just lacking a little bit of quality, really. And we'll just have to see how things go. Barron and Brown both struggling with knocks at the moment, but of course with Martins and Benjamin, they are key players that we're missing out on as things stand. So we go into this game today hoping for some kind of a result. Obviously, in terms of the way St Mirren played previously, I'm not too sure what formation they set up with or anything like that. It's a completely new thing for this team. And of course, we haven't really got any backup in terms of staff either. Um, and it's just, I think it could be a difficult time until we get the staff through the door and we start getting regular training with the squad as well. Obviously, I haven't got any backup staff to deal with press conferences or anything like that either. So it could be a difficult time to start with, but let's see how we do. We're going to hear for St Johnston into Corbo. Wilby lays it back to Henderson. Now Wilby into Neil. Now Theo looks to get in between the defenders. Chance to get it into the penalty area for them, and he flashes it across the face of goal. We get away with one there. But of course, like I said, the other side of it as well, we haven't got any scouts or anything. So we're not able to scout opposition either. As Chicken gets a strike away there with a free kick, and it goes over the crossbar. But the keeper was rooted to his spot there, so if that was on target, we could have gone ahead. A win would be nice here today, obviously, but I'll be quite happy with the draw at this early stage. Like I say, without the staffing behind me at the moment, we haven't really got enough tactical nous after all the changes that we've had to make with the club. Here is Oru with a delivery into the penalty area. It's a good delivery and it's fallen somewhat nicely, but unfortunately it did rebound a little bit and it ended up going out for a goal kick. So no attempts on target from either side. I think it's a typical bottom of the table clash at the moment. Both sides a little bit nervy, not really finding that cutting edge at the moment. Here is Irvine into Fletcher, lays it back to Mabaya. Now Corbo into Fletcher. Chicken does well to intercept. And now Nagasawa into Boyd. Coming down this right-hand side. Can he get it into the penalty area? It's a good bit of movement from him. Nagasawa couldn't quite get past Maguire, and it's a good tackle from the defender, who, by the looks of things, has taken a knock as well. It would be ideal if we could put him under a bit more pressure there, because obviously with him having that knock, he has got to protect himself a bit. But that's a good ball over the top from St Johnstone, and Fletcher is in behind, and Boyd has brought him down, and it's going to be a penalty here. And it's a big difference there, isn't it? I mean, a well-timed challenge at one end, which could have potentially seen a penalty if it wasn't well-timed, and Boyd with the ill-timed challenge, and St Johnstone with the chance to go ahead here from the penalty spot. Brandon Austin against Theo, and Brandon Austin went the right way, but it's a very good penalty from Theo, and we find ourselves behind on the stroke of half-time. I would have hoped we'd have got in at 0-0 at this stage, but that is a big blow. And we'll tell the lads that it's not been good enough. Obviously, like I say, it's a big change of tactical approach for the club as well, and it is going to be a very difficult transition until we get that back up in the way of staff and just general players as well. We may have won a penalty somehow here. Leon King with a lovely delivery into the penalty area, and Oru was the man attacking it. And by the looks of things, he's been pushed, and we have a penalty of our own here. And the chance to draw ourselves level is going to be Nolan to take. And Nolan dispatches the penalty. Our wing-back, James Nolan, with his first goal of the season, is our first goal scorer in our reign here at St Mirren. And it's a very good penalty. Again, the keeper going the right way, but the power and placement of the strike was too much for the keeper. And we're going to offer some encouragement to the lads, because again, it's not been too bad a performance, but neither side really taking the bull by the horns as such. It's been a very cagey affair so far. Both sides were just one attempt on target, both of which penalties. Theo here into Maguire. Neil back into Theo, and we're just struggling to get the closing down right here, and Fletcher has managed to get in behind, and he's fired it in. And there is an element of offside to this one, and I'm hoping it will be so. And it is. He just made that run too early, and we, again, get away with it here. We've offered the encouragement. The lads seem reasonably happy in the game so far, but like I say, we've not really got any backup in the squad at the moment. So it's going to be a very tough run for us, I think. We're going to demand a little bit. We're going to offer a bit more encouragement, because, again, the lads, it's been a very tough time for the club, and they really are struggling to get themselves out of this this trouble at the moment. Evan Murdoch is going to come on that right hand side. Rari Chicken's going to come off for Longwell. It's largely fitness concerns that we have at the moment. Connor Barron, he isn't fully fit, but we are going to bring him on for the last 10 minutes just to give him a little bit of a run out. And the players that we're bringing on are motivated. There's a number of players that are angry and anxious and wound up on the bench as well. But we do need to, obviously, within this transition, it is going to take a bit of time. Hopefully, we can find a way to keep this result either as it is or even better it, as Fontana Rosa finds King, and now Triponez into Boyd. Plays it down the line. It's a great pass, and Murdoch is in behind, lays it across, and that's a poor pass. Longwell had the space to get onto that, and fortunately, we just lacked that little bit of quality in that final ball. Barron couldn't beat Wilby, and now Irvine. St Johnstone potentially on the counter-attack. Dykes does well and finds Fontana Rosa, and we have a chance to build again here. Longwell controls it well into the penalty, and that's a great run, and Kidd has just managed to tip it over the crossbar. And again, in the end, it was a well-worked opportunity, but for a moment, I thought we were going to be caught out on the counter as Oru plays it in toward that far post, and there was no one there. Unfortunately, from our point of view, poor from us in relation to the set piece that time, and it remains one apiece. Kidd with the goal kick, and we couldn't win the header, but we have managed to get the second ball, and King lofts it over the top, and Longwell in behind, chance for the finish, and what an explosive goal from Murray Longwell. comes off the bench and he gives us the lead here, 2-1 up away at St Johnstone. And again, I don't know if Nolan won the initial ball or not. I'm not too sure. King with the ball over the top, Longwell controlling it well and firing it on the half volley. Kid actually got a touch to it, but the power and pace on the strike was too much for him. Murray Longwell with the goal, and it's ended up being a very good match for us. We've played much better than St Johnstone, and I really hope we can hold on for the 3 points because this could be a huge start for us, considering they've only won twice so far this season. Here is Murdoch into King, plays it out wide to Boyd. Can he get it into the penalty area? He's under a bit of pressure, fires it across. King does manage to get there, but Gunnier does well to win possession. Now Tripanez into King. I'm quite surprised by King today, to be fair, because he's actually playing in proper central midfield. Um, certainly showing his versatility. Toby there with a harsh challenge on Murdoch, and there's every opportunity here that it could be a very bad challenge as well. They're checking for a red card with VAR, and in the end, they've decided no further action. So St Johnstone getting away with it a little bit there, but that is a fantastic start. What a really big result that is. They only had 3 attempts at goal, the one shot on target, which was the penalty. 13 attempts at goal we had. So from an attacking perspective, we looked pretty decent. But again, only 3 shots on target. Luckily, we did score 2 of them. Possession-wise, we weren't too bad either. And we thoroughly deserved to get the 3 points today. And despite everything that's been going through the club before, that is a massive result. And hopefully, it's something that we can capitalise on and try and push forward with. Just decline the interview. I'm not. It's something I've never really done before, the pre and post match interviews, but that is a really big win for us. It takes us 3 points clear off St Johnstone and a further point to Livingston, and we still have that game in hand as well. So there's opportunities here for us. Queen's Park, of course, with 3 games in hand. So obviously the pressure is still on us. We've got a lot of work to do, but we can be very pleased with that start. It's only the 3rd win of the season for St Mirren, and we've done it in our 1st game in charge. We can be extremely pleased with that, and certainly plenty to work on. Incidentally, our next game is at home to Queen's Park, so it's another massive game, really. But that's 2 wins in 3 overall for the club. Murray Longwell with the hero with that late winner. Kilmarnock, again, could be a winnable game for us, but we play Queen's Park and Livingston in January away from home. Massive, massive games for us from that perspective of relegation. So we'll get through these next 6 matches. We've got a Scottish Cup 4th round tie against East Fife as well, so that could be potentially very winnable. And we'll be back for Motherwell and Rangers at the start of February, and we'll have a look at our transfer roundup as well to see if we have been able to just fill a couple of the voids that we have here in this St Mirren squad. So until next time, guys, thank you very much for your support. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It is all greatly appreciated. I will see you all next time. This is Big Will, signing away.